All right, so the fourth commandment is remember the Sabbath and to keep it holy. So we know in Genesis, it goes over Moses, depicts the story of creation. And on the seventh day, God rested after creating the earth and all of its inhabitants, all of vegetation, everything, water, sky, earth. And he rested on the seventh day. Now, I know a lot of people want to pick and choose what day they choose for the Sabbath. I'm not here to judge. It is not my place. I am walking the narrow path as best I can as well, and I do fail at taking a Sabbath day. However, one thing that he showed me in this is that he is our eternal rest. So even on the weeks that we're unable to take a day of rest, whether it's because you've got kids and it's hard to actually rest for a day, whether you've got a full-time job because you're taking care of your family or yourself and you just can't get away, just remember that he is our eternal rest. And a verse that comes to mind on that one, I've got a couple here, but we have Mark chapter 2, verse 27 and 28. And he, Yeshua, said to them, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath." So what he's telling us there, part of this is that he was being asked by the Pharisees, why are you doing, back in verse 24, the Pharisees were saying to him, look, why are you doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath? So that was Yeshua's response, and God is not under our rules. He created the rules for us because he built us. He knows exactly who we are and what we're capable of and where we falter. So it's important for us to rest because we're not God. We don't have the capability to just keep going on overdrive all the time. We get burnt out. I can say that from experience. Almost every career I've had, I've gotten burnt out at a certain point. In almost every relationship I've held, I've gotten burnt out at a certain point. And I think the key point in this is that he is our Sabbath. And, he says to keep our minds fixed on things above. And so part of that is to keep our minds set on him and to make sure that we do rest. So how can we keep the Sabbath holy? Now, some study I did on the days of the week, which is kind of a different branch off of this, but the Hebrew calendar actually is from Sunday to Saturday. So Sunday being day 1 of the week, Saturday being day 7. So I have tried to keep Saturday as my Sabbath. Today is actually Saturday, and I've been able to take, for the most part, a day of rest. And he led me to kind of actually do some of these videos today for that. But how do we keep the Sabbath holy? Well, one of the biggest parts is worshiping him. And abstaining from the world. So, another suggestion that I would have if you're trying to keep the Sabbath holy, try to refrain from worldly activities, whether that's what you're watching, which I think could carry on into the rest of your week as well, because what's the point in doing good on one day when the rest of the 6 days you're just following along with the world? But really try to focus on him in that Sabbath and keeping his covenant, keeping our commitment to him. When we surrender our lives to him and we acknowledge that Yeshua died for us, we're making a life choice. There's a difference between believing and following. So if we just say we believe, okay, that's not really going to do too much. We'll just say we believe and we carry on. But if we're choosing to follow him, then we're surrendering every aspect of our former lives to him. So that day of rest, that Sabbath, is something that we can take really into consideration to be still, know that he is God, and take the time that's needed to refresh our minds, renew our minds, to be more focused on him for the week to come. So I did look up the definition of reverence, and it does mean a deep respect, a profound love, admiration, and awe. So those are all qualities that we could take into consideration as we're practicing the Sabbath, all focused around him. Now, when it comes to his definition of work, there's quite a few verses here. I'm just going to list them off. I won't read through all of them in this video, but we have Genesis 1, 26 through 31, and Genesis 2, 1 through 3, We have Psalm 25, verse 8. We have Genesis 3, 17 through 19. We have Psalm 104, 1 through 35. We have Ecclesiastes 3, 12 through 13, and Ecclesiastes 5, 18 through 20. And we have Exodus 23, 10 through 11, and Exodus 31, 2 through 11. So again, with the Sabbath, trying to keep it holy, worshiping, listening to, worship music, not necessarily the world's version of worship music, but true, feel it in your heart kind of worship music, reading the word. There is absolutely nothing that counterfeits reading the word, and just keeping him as our forefront.